Hello, everybody. My name is Caesar.
I'm Martha.
And welcome to the now 6th episode of the Inner Wider Screen podcast, where
two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies. Can't believe we're at our 6th episode already.
I know.
That's crazy. Which like isn't a big milestone, but still it's big enough for us.
I think for us it is, because I wouldn't have been surprised if honestly past 2 we were like, you know what, I'm not feeling it.
Never mind.
Nah.
Yeah, too much work.
But no, we're at 6 now. I'm still digging it, and
yeah,
I think you still are too. We're still here smiling, and
some days.
Yeah, I won't speak for you then. No, but yeah, as you can see, we're back on Zoom. I'm out of town right now, and it's been good over here, and you're all over there by yourself. I'm sorry.
Alone, and it's boring.
But
it's fine.
You have your new Alexa to keep you company.
Yeah, I got an Alexa, which I feel like I'm like very late to the game one because they've been around for so long.
Yeah, when did the first one come out?
God, I don't even know. I mean, my family's always had one, but I never had like a personal one, and she's become my new best friend, and we're having so much fun together.
Well, if your family already had one, why did you feel the need to get your own personal one?
Because I don't have one in my own space, and I needed a friend to talk to.
I think you just needed a friend. I respect that.
Because you weren't here, and
I know, I was such a bad friend.
Yeah, so. You're horrible. How dare you?
But we still found something to bond us over in our distance, and that's that's our movies. And this week's movie is
The School of Rock.
Yes.
I'm so excited about that.
So
I love this movie.
Yeah, it's so good, and we can't wait to get into it. You all right?
Yeah, no, sorry. I just realized because normally I write like at the end of my notes the score that I give it, and I didn't give it a score. So this is going to be like a what I feel in the moment sort of thing when we get to the end.
I think once we're talking about it and you get your feelings and sorts, by the time we get to that point at the end, you'll really be sure.
Because yeah.
Okay, cool.
Usually it isn't set in stone quite yet. Okay.
No, and I don't. I mean, we rate stuff, but I don't think ratings are really sense. I mean, ratings are just numbers. It's just kind of summarize, I guess,
and
how
anyway,
we feel.
Like we said, two idiots who know nothing about movies. So our ratings mean absolutely
nothing at all. So take that with a grain of salt. But once again, before we get into School of Rock, we are going to go into spoilers with this. So if you have not seen the movie, there's not much. It came out in 2003. But I'm sure there's someone out there who hasn't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, I would say it's on HBO Max, but they just took it off this weekend.
Oh, well.
So if you can find it on TV, they showed on TV, right?
Yeah, I've seen it on just like regular cable.
Yeah, so I mean, you can find it's 2003. You can find it somewhere. So I would watch that first. It
can be done.
What did you say?
Oh, I said it can be done.
Oh, absolutely, yes. It can be done. So real quick, so just to introduce the movie real briefly, if that's okay. This is directed by Richard Linklater, who is most known for Dazed and Confused, the Before trilogy, and then actually after this he made Boyhood, which I mentioned was one of my favorite movies in the first episode. If you haven't watched the first episode. This stars Jack Black, Joan Cusack, Mike White, who actually wrote the movie, which is pretty cool, and Sarah Silverman. This was released on October 3rd, 2003. Long time ago. I was only 3 years old when this came out.
Yeah, I was at 3 or 4.
Yeah, so pretty crazy. And then I want you to guess, how much money do you think this cost to make?
$6.
Like six million, or just straight up $6 only?
$6.
35 million. So.
Oh, I was a little off.
A little off. But you have a chance for redemption. Can you guess how much it made worldwide?
$7.
No, it made $131 million worldwide.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty successful. So Martha, what are your, I guess this has been out for 2003. I'm sure this is not your first time watching.
It's not first impressions of it, because
not initial thoughts, because
I've seen this movie. I couldn't even count how many times I watched it a lot growing up. This was like peak comedy to me, and I've always been such a huge fan of Jack Black.
I know
he is my favorite person to exist ever. He's hilarious. The confidence that exudes from this man, it's just so impressive. And my goal in life is to be as confident as Jack Black is. He is just, I could go on forever talking about how awesome he is.
Which I think a lot of that does stretch into this role, and even how he connects with some of the kids has to do with like his confidence.
He is the only person I could think to play this character. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect because he's like, his love of rock music, like that is real.
That's like I literally wrote down that, like,
Jack Black. Yeah,
that obviously he plays a character in this, but he's so much himself. It's kind of like a exaggerated, not exaggerated in a sense, but kind of exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah, he has so much fun with the role because it just like sort of stems from his own true character, and I think that's what makes it so special. And I really, really enjoyed just watching it again and again and again, and being able to see it again this time, and then take notes on it. Yeah,
actually, like, really, I think watching this as a kid, it's like I always thought this was hilarious and stuff, but I never really paid attention to why I felt that way until this time. So it was cool to look at it from that lens. Do you remember the first time you saw it, or like earlier memories from it? I couldn't even tell you that. I mean, okay, well, yes, I do. Not like watching the movie. Yeah, I guess while watching the movie, but like I just remember being in elementary school and watching this and just being like, I want to be as cool as these kids are. I know. I want to be them. I've mentioned before on the podcast, I love music. Music is a very large part of my life. Unfortunately, I was not blessed with musical ability. I cannot sing, cannot play any instruments, got no rhythm, but can you dance?
I can dance. That's the one thing I can do. Okay. But I love music so much. So like seeing these kids just like form a band. I mentioned it before. You give me a story about a ragtag group of kids joining a band together, I will watch it and I will love it every time.
Every single one.
Yes.
And I think this is the best example of that. I'm sure we'll go into the worst ones another time.
At some point,
At some point, we have to. No, these kids are so cool. And like a lot of them actually, like in the movie, you know how they're obviously classically trained and they're just learning now how to make rock. Like a lot of them were actually like in that position, like in real life. Like a lot of these kids, I think some of them knew like rock music, so a lot of them really didn't know much, and they had to learn it too. And I think they rehearsed for like 6 weeks.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
Commitment.
So it's just, I mean, obviously like these kids are they're so talented in it, but they're like really natural. Mm-hmm. They're kids.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, and also I just liked how they all have their own personalities and insecurities and different roles that they brought to the band.
That was something I really liked, was just like giving each student like a character arc. Well, not every single one of them. Some of them were more in the background.
Some of them kind of had like their own little arc.
And I think that was what was so special about it, was that Jack Black was able to have a moment with each kid in a different way and kind of help them with whatever they're struggling with. And recently on like Twitter, it's come back and people have been talking about it because of one scene in particular, which was where he was talking to, I want to say her name's Tamika. Yes. She was one of the singers. Mm-hmm. She was a really good singer. And she's like, well, they're going to laugh at me because I'm fat. And he's like, so what? Like, you're awesome. Like, don't,
Like, who else has struggled with weight like me? But, like, I go out there and I rock and they love me. Like, they're going to love you too. Yeah.
And so, like, he has, like, that moment with her. He has, like, the moment talking about, like, bullies with Zach because his dad was, like, being a bully to him. And then there was that other moment with, I forgot his name. The drummer. The drummer kid.
Zach, I think his name is?
I thought Zach Mooney was the guitarist.
You're right. Freddie?
Yeah. Freddie, there you go. Okay. Freddie was his name. And like, he has this mindset of like, well, rock and roll is all about girls and drugs and drinking. And he's like, no, rock and roll, like that's what posers think rock and roll is. Rock and roll is like being, and like knowing, like enjoying the music and like being part of it, telling a story. And so like, it's in those moments you see he like really connects to like each one of them in a special way, and I like that.
And I feel like I'm sure in real life, because him making music, I feel like those are all things he had to learn himself.
Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely think that adds to how his character like reaches to them, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool touch.
Again, it's another part of just like Jack Black really taking on the role and like being able to just like really draw off of experience, which makes it so much better.
Which is good too, because at the beginning of the movie, he's obviously like pathetically desperate, I think.
Yes.
So bad. Very. Like, even that first shot where they're in the rock show and he's like, he looks like he's a good player, but then he just does not know when to control himself and reel himself in. And then he's like living at his friend's, sleeping on the floor. It's like, okay, like the dude's a loser. And then
very clearly,
then they call him up, you know, we have a sub position. Is this Ned Sheebly? And then he's like, Ned, phone.
Yes. It's those like moments in the movie that it's like, I want to know if they were scripted or improvised by him, because they're just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not like needed in the like for the plot to progress, but like I have a feeling like it's just him adding them in there, because it's like he's like, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there are like quite a bit of moments like that where you don't really think they mean much of anything, but they add a little more to a character.
Yes. Yeah. Know? It definitely shows off like the quirks and like who the character is.
So I just think it's cool though. Like, you're kind of, I mean, I felt a little conflicted with his character, because it's like, obviously, like at first he's using these kids for his own selfish reasons and, you know, his own ego that he's like this great rock star or whatever. But then like later on, it's like, well, I think he genuinely cares about them.
Yeah. I wrote down
by the end of the movie,
notes,
he does. You know, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I wrote down in my notes, like, for, like, the character notes, like, he's not the best person, but he learns to care. And I think as he, like, starts to transform into more of a teacher role as the movie goes on, because he starts caring for these kids. And I think because of that, because he's such a selfish person, that as it goes on, like at the beginning, he's like, this is like, you can't kick me out of my band. You know, I'm going to have my rocking solo. And then he even, like, when he starts off with the kids, like, he's like only thinking about himself. He's like,
I'm the lead singer, lead guitar. You're singing my songs.
Yes, everything about that. And then by the end of it, he learns, he's like, okay, no, this isn't, like, it doesn't have to be just about me. Like, these kids are something special too, and I should show off their talents. And so, like, I think the I'm jumping all the way to the end.
No, you're good. You're good.
The closing scene where the credits are rolling, where they're singing that song, and he gives every one of them
their own time,
their own to shine. Solo.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like, that just shows once again, like, how his character has just come full circle from just being like this, like, selfish loser to someone who, like, has, you know, direction and cares about other people. Himself.
And it's like you're saying, taking on the teacher role himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he taught these kids about rock music. Obviously not teacher in like the sense of classroom.
Yeah, not like a math
I don't think
teacher.
I had
not the regular teacher.
Right.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I was like, I would be so happy if my teacher came in and was like, so listen, we're not doing anything. He's like, I don't want to do it.
Right.
So just do whatever. I'd be like, all right, cool.
That would have made school a lot more tolerable.
In elementary school, so now I'm a great student. I am very good at studying. I take pride in that. Elementary school, I was not. Elementary school, I did not care. And I've asked my mom before, I was like, hey, why didn't we ever start like a college fund for me? And her response was, to be honest, I didn't think you'd make it this far. So that tells you everything you need to know about the person I was in elementary.
That's your own character arc right there.
Yes, I've come full circle. I'm a good student now.
But to be fair, who has study habits in elementary school?
That's true. Yeah.
I don't think you're alone.
It would just be too hard on me.
I mean, what do we have to study? Like 1 + 1 and 2 + 2?
Yeah, I think it was just more. I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm gonna play. I want to talk.
I just want recess.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care about the actual stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even like you're saying, I think it's not even just Jack Black that has his own character arc going on. I think it's the other ones too. Like the principal, even like obviously she shows up. She's all like.
Very uptight,
and like you're just like, okay, lady, chill.
Yeah.
But then like she like opens up when she's drunk. It's like the parents, like, they put so much pressure on her. It's like she feels like she cannot fail. But then like you see who she really is, like singing to like a Stevie Nicks song, and then even like
which,
at
by
the end,
the way, I would also agree to anything if like Stevie Nicks was on. And,
oh
like,
yeah, that was a great tactic by him.
It's very smart. Yeah.
Very smart. And even like at the end, like I think her arc comes full circle because it's like, yeah, she's mad because she's the principal and like the kids should have left school, but it's like they did such a good job.
She's proud of them at the end of the day. Yeah. Which shows like she's not just there to be like, because I'm sure you've had those like teachers or principals where it's like, why are you even here? You clearly don't like kids.
Don't like being here. You don't like kids. You don't like teaching. You could see that you're just here for the bag or what? Like,
yeah, like what are you doing here? Like you're not meant for this role. She starts off as the type of person like that first scene with her. I don't know if it's first scene, but it's like one of those early scenes where she's like yelling at the girl and she's like, "Oh, please be more careful." And then she's like, "Do you want a hug?" And the girl's like, "Ah!" And she's like crying and she's so terrified of her. But then by the end, like you said, like you see her, she does have that like full circle moment where she's like, okay, I can still care about these kids, and it does show that she does care about these kids even though the kids might not know it.
So I feel like she wasn't able to connect in that way with them.
She wasn't able to connect.
Like with that scene with the kid, obviously she does not know how to comfort a kid.
No, no, she does not. So like that just is she has an interesting character overall. I think and then by the end she gets that one rocker dude from
he's like starts hitting on her,
the one with the sleeved shirt, which as a kid watching this movie I was like, that's ridiculous, I love it. I was so obsessed with his shirt.
Oh my god,
like it never made sense to me, and I was just today. Like, I love it. I should have
missed opportunity.
I mean, I'm sorry, actually I saw which I'll show some funny tweets I found about School of Rock. But one of them was like a shirt from, I don't know, wherever it was, like Forever 21, H&M, somewhere like that.
One of those places.
And it was like that. It was like a sweater, but it was only the sleeves. And it's like, what purpose does this serve? It's a sweater, but it's only covering your sleeves.
Does that count as a sweater?
I didn't understand it, and it made no sense. And it's so funny to me. So I should have gotten that shirt for this.
Oh my god,
would have been perfect.
That would have fitted well, I think, because it's like, why?
Oh, definitely. What is the point?
Exactly. No, and then another character that I also thought kind of, obviously it doesn't really have much of a role, is what is the real Ned Schneebly.
Yeah.
I think just him realizing he doesn't have to give up like his love of music, which I think I feel like you kind of get a hint throughout he doesn't really want to do it, because even from the beginning it's like, I don't think you like the girl you're with, I think you just want to be with her so you're not alone.
He very clearly hates his life, but he's like, I have to be okay with this because this is where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah.
But he just looked miserable.
He looked miserable throughout the whole movie. My favorite line from him though is, "I'm not a satanic sex god anymore." I cracked up laughing. Like I don't think I would have been able to appreciate that joke as a child, but watching it again as an adult, that was awesome.
So good. So it was just cool for him. At the end, he's like going to the concert. She's like, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to the show." She's like, "Oh my god." No. And he's just like,
she's like, "Why are you going to stick up for yourself?" And he's like, "Right now."
He's right now leaving.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, Sarah Silverman. She played a fun character.
Yeah,
she played an awful character. But
she was awful, but I think it looked like it was a fun character. I think too.
Yes. Yeah, it was a very fun character. She was entertaining to watch just because
she was
just beating up that poor man.
She was, and then like, dude, literally like calling the police on Dewey when they find out that.
I mean, okay, in terms of like watching the movie, because he is our protagonist, you would be like, well, how dare she? But also, if you were in a real life situation where you knew that was happening, and that's a danger to children. So situation. Actually, she did the right thing.
She did do, but in the moment, it's like, okay, like literally, like he says to her, he's like, "You're acting like I murdered somebody." Like, chill. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, also, part of it is suspending your disbelief, like your belief, the movie and all that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
also it's like, why'd you call them?
Yeah. Why you gotta be like that? He was just trying to do.
He was
being very selfish at first.
At the beginning, but at the end, he genuinely like wanted to make like
he genuinely
start a
wanted
band
to help them
with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were some of those tweets actually that you found? I was very curious about.
Actually, one of them was, it was like a review for the movie, and it was like, this would never happen in real life.
Oh, 100%. No way.
Which I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, so there's this one from Shay _Thompson _. So it said,
Shout
imagine this. Yeah, shout out to, cause I'm sure she's watching this.
Right.
She's one of the 3 listeners. Okay, so it's 20 years from now. You land a killer job teaching music to kids. Your roommate's girlfriend wants to kick you out. You're considered tacky and hated by one student. It was a struggle at first, but the kids love you. Miranda Cosgrove is also there. It's School of Rock.
Oh, okay.
Which I just, my favorite part of that was just like not mentioning that her name was Summer. It was like mentioning Miranda Cosgrove is also there for some reason.
She's just there.
Which I loved that. Another one was...
Shout out to Carly in that movie. She was good in this too.
I love iCarly. I love that show. Me. I will be singing Memory from Cats. Auditioner. Okay, me. In the style of Miranda Cosgrove in School of Rock. Oh. See yourself out.
I literally forgot about her like singing in the movie.
That was awesome.
I heard that actually, because obviously, like, I guess she sings in real life.
Music.
She's made music. So I was reading that she actually had to like unlearn, like she had to do like bad singing lessons or something to make her sound like legit terrible. And it worked. She sounded awful.
Funny. I feel like it's easier to be a bad singer than a good singer. Even if you are a good singer.
It reminds me, I've heard of like these basketball movies. Like there was this one that came out with like Kevin Durant, and there was a part, I think, where he like doesn't have his like abilities anymore. I guess like Space Jam. I don't know. And he had to basically,
it sounds like Space Jam.
I guess because he was so good at shooting, like in real life, he had to like learn how to like intentionally like miss a lot of shots. Huh. And for him, it was like he kept making them. And it's like I wish
I'm bad at everything, so I don't think I have to unlearn how to do anything.
Right, I don't have to unlearn. I could just be me.
Bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
just gonna be myself. Okay, so then I think this is the... Oh, no. There's 2. Okay, so this next one was, every time I see little Zan, I keep thinking he's the guitarist kid from School of Rock grown up.
It. No.
And they put the comparison pictures, and they actually look similar.
Really?
So I'm not convinced that they're not the same person.
I really hope they're not.
I don't think they are. No, I saw like a picture of him. He did not age well. So...
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know if I know what they look like now. Besides Miranda Cosgrove.
Okay, and so then the last one is, I think it's a really funny one. The School of Rock kids probably all bombed their standardized tests at the end of that year. Which I'm convinced that they did.
That's very true.
They learned not a single thing.
They did not. Literally, I mean, how long was he the sub for? Like 6 weeks or something, they said?
I think it was something like that. And then I think they...
Because like one of the kids, I think it was Freddie, he was like, for 6 weeks we wasted our time or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was probably like 6 weeks or something, which is a lot of time.
Which is like a huge chunk of a school year.
Yeah,
half a semester basically. Almost.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's quite a bit of time to have learned nothing. Well, I
hate standardized testing. They learned, but not
the things that they were supposed
to be learning.
But to get an education in rock,
I think that's more valuable.
Definitely
honestly.
more valuable. Absolutely.
I think we use that more than anything we learned in school.
Yeah. I mean, how else are you going to show people that you're like so totally cool because you knew all about rock music?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I was watching him teach the class. I was like, why do I wish I was a student in that class?
I know. I'm like, I want to learn more.
Also, too, I hate standardized testing. I don't see the point of it.
I'm not a good test taker. I'm a good student. I'm not a good test taker because I'm also just like, I'm in a constant state of stress at all times. Mm-hmm. So when I get into a test...
nothing quite brings it out like a test.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm like, I don't even know my name. What are you asking me?
You see the blank next to your name, you're like,
I don't know about this. This is a trick question.
I'm not sure about this one.
This is a true story. I've spelled my name wrong on a test before. I put market. I wrote market. I don't know how I did that. I get so freaked out in tests, so I just can't take them. So standardized tests suck because it does not measure how good of a student I am. The rest of the school year tells you how good of a student I am.
Clearly that one test did not I mean, okay, if I was a teacher and I saw that you wrote mark it, I would have like immediately like called you down to my office or something.
I felt bad, like, honey.
Express real concern. I'm like, do we need to take you to a doctor? Like, you okay?
Yeah, I should have gone to one a long time ago.
Oh my god, mark it. Jesus.
Yeah, mark it. Hi,
I think I'm changing your name in my phone to mark it.
Go for it. Yeah, totally.
So was that your last tweet that you had?
Yeah, that was the last tweet. Yeah, so I found there were a bunch of other ones. Unfortunately, I did find it from a BuzzFeed article. Try not to judge me too hard. It came across my Twitter feed, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect. We're doing it this week."
You kind of have to, right? No, I get it. I don't judge.
Yeah.
No judgment.
It's a lot of judgment, but whatever.
So going into that, since we're referencing kind of like funny moments in the movie, after all, this is a comedy, and I think as much as all the cool stuff is with the characters and stuff, I think what we remember this for is the comedy. So I wrote down some of my favorite quotes from the movie. There's so many great ones.
Yes.
First of all, him talking about the funny little footnote on my epic ass as he's getting fired from the band. I mentioned the Ned phone thing, the way he was just messing with the chords and stuff was funny to me. The fact that when he showed up to the class, he was trying to write Mr. Schneebly on the board and he couldn't spell it. So he's like, Mr. S.
Yeah, that was funny.
When he rips off that Gold Star poster and Summer's like,
oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about Summer later, but yeah, let's continue with the quotes.
Okay, definitely. And actually, I think my favorite scene in the movie is when he's performing the song he wrote for the whole class, because it's all kind of like at one shot and kind of like backing up, but like, I feel like just the way he goes from like in the zone performing to like just putting together in his head the pieces, like, okay, like now you're gonna be on the bass and you're gonna do this when this happens, and then I thought it was just really impressive and like really funny.
Yes. Yeah. So that definitely does show his like yes, he's a ridiculous character, but he is talented. Like he is able to just like in his mind like put together that song so fast, and it's like, okay, you're doing this. Never mind, I changed my mind. That sounds bad. You're gonna do this now. You know, like things like that. I think
that's just him like realizing. I think in the beginning of the movie, he's talented, but he clearly does not know how to work together.
He doesn't. Yeah. No.
He doesn't understand the concept of a band. He's like, this is a one-man show, and it's like it's not.
Yes, exactly. So that's definitely a problem that he has to overcome. But
one of the best ones. I want to make sure I get this one right. Actually, you're a fat loser and you have body odor.
That one is great. Yes,
and it's just love it. Fuck, that one went a little far. A little too personal. Him getting the kids into the show by like pretending they're sick, they're terminal.
Okay, that was hilarious. Yeah,
and then they're celebrating. He's like, "Cut it out, you're dead." I mean, cut out, you're dying.
You're dying, and he's like, and Freddy like falls to the floor. He like is like dead on the floor when he like looks at him. That was a really funny moment too.
And then of course, the final show at the end where they're performing is really great, and like we were saying, like it ends all their arcs like perfectly. Even the parents are the worst throughout the movie. Like, oh yeah, you need to do this. You can't listen to this. I need you to do this, this, this. And at the end, it's like they accept them. They understand that they're talented, and it's just cool to be accepted by your parents. You know.
I definitely want to talk more about the parents. But I want to mention some of my funny parts that like really stuck out to me. So the one, like the number one iconic line that I still use to this day when I don't like people, is "You're tacky and I hate you." That is like. I heard it as a kid, and I'm like, that is my line. That is what I will use from this day forward, and I have.
I think you have used that on me many times.
Yes. You're tacky, and I hate you.
Yeah, I hate you. And I'm like, honestly, I respect it.
Amazing.
That character is so funny.
I love it. He's hilarious. I love that kid. So just like everything about him, that was a forever iconic line.
I know.
What was the next one? Where he's like talking to the kids about like joining, like when he first started in the band, and he was like, "It will test your head, your mind, and your brain too."
You're like, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm like, I can't disagree with you there.
That was another funny line. I think you mentioned all the other ones that I had like wrote down. It was just like such a funny movie. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I want to talk more about the parents a little bit more.
Okay.
I think that's another like group of characters that had like a full arc, because like they're very like, no, you study, you play classical music, that's it. And then and by the end, like they see them performing and they're like, wow, it's my kid, they're talented.
Yeah.
which is it's a nice moment to see, and that
like
even
for the kids
after
to see, like that they're finally accepted by their parents for what they want to do.
Yes, and I think even like after stealing their children, they still trust him by the end of it, because they see how much the kids like actually love him and like have learned from him. Maybe not the right stuff, but learned from him in the end. They learned something.
We didn't even mention this quote. I want to make sure too that I'm saying it correctly, but I have been touched by your kids.
Oh, that was another part. Yes,
and I'm pretty sure that I've touched them. And they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was really funny. That was, and the cop is right there, so that just made it so much better.
I'm like, I don't know how they didn't arrest him right there. He like was able to run out of the school. But
that was funny. Yeah,
I mean his
but
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say one thing about that. I wish we could have seen the parents in a mosh pit. That would have been very enjoyable. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they weren't in one. I mean, I don't know anyone who's moshed to some kids before.
I mean, like for them, because if you've ever been to like a rock show or like any concert and you're in like the standing section and you're trying to get to the front of the stage, that's not going to happen. They got through it
so easily.
The power of a parent.
Yeah, well,
they're
that's
just
true.
like, that is my kid, get out of my way.
Right. They will, that crowd parted so quick. So quick.
Yes,
yeah.
so quick. Yeah.
No, that's very true.
What were you going to say?
Oh, yikes. No, it's gone.
Okay. Moving on.
You mentioned something about Summer too that you wanted to mention.
Summer. I think she's a really fun character. I just like she's that person, like that kid that's just like, she needs to be the best. And like, okay, so I mentioned before, elementary school me, definitely not Summer. But like as I got older, I feel like I was sort of like a Summer, where I was like, I need to do the very best to be the best.
Oh yeah, no.
And and like in terms of like getting good grades and like all of that, and like I was annoing. Why are you friends with me? Yeah, so like, but
it took some work. It took some work.
Yeah, it took some work, but I think her character is funny. She's very smart, and like you see that because like at first like she's school smart, like she's book smart, but then you see throughout the movie she's just very clever. Like she's the one that came up with the idea of them being like dying children, right, to get them into the show. So like that was her. Like by the end you see her and she's like, oh well, you know, like I'm going to band practice right now, like if you want us so badly, quit lowballing us. Like she's like this like tiny little. She's like the perfect person to
be their manager.
She's the perfect manager for it. She's
so
even
clever. The way at the beginning when they're like, like you're gonna be the groupies, and she's like, I looked up what a groupie means. They're sluts. They just
yeah. She's smart. She's a smart girl. She knows how to think on her feet. She's gonna go far.
Yeah, I'm even like he's like she's gonna be the first female president of the United States.
Yes, yeah.
And, I mean, hey, at this point, it's still possible.
Yeah,
well, not doing it.
I'd vote for Miranda Cosgrove for president.
Yeah, I would too. I'd vote for Carly. Why not?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. They're making that new iCarly. I'm very excited. I mean, like I'm excited about it, but also.
I think I'm more curious about it than excited. Like I will check it out because I just want to see if it's gonna be like actually decent.
So that's where I'm like torn, because like I know Sam's not going to be there.
Yeah, understandably.
And I know everything, like a lot has come out recently about like everything that went down
with her on the set. Yeah.
So now I'm kind of like,
I just hope that I mean I would assume that this set is going to be more friendly with them. I mean they're adults now. I mean they're just going to play like their adult lives out. Yeah. Right. Is this like have they said if it's like geared towards kids again, or is this kind of like Or is this for the adults now who grew up watching iCarly, or what is?
I have not looked into it. I only know that they are making a reboot. I only know that it's happening. I need to look more into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just wait till it comes out and just see what happens there.
Yeah, me and my brother definitely gotta watch it.
Yeah, no, it should be it'll be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I just wanted to touch on the director Richard Linklater because I don't know if you've seen any of his other movies.
You mentioned them at the beginning, but I'm going to be honest.
You haven't heard them.
I stopped listening, so.
That's all good. That's fine. It's fine. Well, he has a lot of other really good movies. And when I realized that he directed this, it was just surprising because before this, he had always just done like art house, like low budget stuff. Mm-hmm. Like he had never done like a studio comedy, and then I guess he took this because he felt it was his chance to like make one of those and like succeed at it, which I think it does. Like. I don't think there's a lot of style in this, but I think he puts it together that it works.
Yes.
Well, it's a good story.
Yes,
and as long as it's a good story, it's a good director, you know?
Yeah.
And even what I liked is kind of like the whole movie is kind of like Jack Black's world in a way. Like all the songs being played are like rock songs, and even like how he is as a character, like driving around in that like tour van.
Yes, yeah. The focus on this like appreciation of rock really adds to like the character and the charm of the movie.
Definitely. And I mean, I think he's from Austin, the director. So like obviously that's like the live music capital of the world. So clearly like I think his music knowledge and Jack Black's like sure that played a part into this.
No, definitely.
And I just think honestly I think the best thing about it is like you look at the movie, like he's teaching kids, you're like, oh, it's gonna be one of those crappy like cutesy kids movies, and it's like kids can watch it. We watched it as kids and we loved it, but like there's so much like legit humor
adults
in this
that can really enjoy. Honestly, you might be able to enjoy it. No, I wouldn't say you would enjoy it more as a kid because I enjoyed it a whole lot as a kid. I enjoy it
even more
so
now.
Much as an adult. So like older. I think whether you're an adult or you're a child, you will enjoy this movie. It's so
definitely.
good.
Definitely. And I think that's the mark of a great like family movie, that anyone can enjoy it, and it doesn't there's nothing like really like stupid about it. I think it's all very clever.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, okay. I agree. Yes, we are in agreement.
Yes, we are in agreement. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, do you have any final notes about the movie? Oh, actually I do have something real quick.
Okay. Yes, good.
I remembered what I was going to say earlier. I will say that his like I guess little moment of redemption is very quick. Like they forgive him very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so like even when he gets in the bus, then they're like, we don't have time for apologies. We're gonna be late.
I know. Yeah, which I thought was funny. It's like okay, clearly this is not important. Like him needing to be forgiven.
But also I feel like it makes sense because they are kids, and I don't like they were clearly like upset when they were left alone in the classroom and they were talking about it and being like, hey, like, yeah, like he lied to us and like we just wasted all that time. And they're like, but no, we didn't. Like we did something good together. And I think in the end, that's what they took from it. They didn't care about the fact that that he lied to them. They cared about the fact that he was there and that he actually, because again, like I mentioned before, he had a moment with each of those students. Like there was the piano player, he was like, I'm not cool enough to do this, and he's like don't say that, like you're awesome, and as soon as you start playing, you're gonna be the coolest kid in school. And he made them all feel better about themselves. He made them more confident, and he gave them, like each one of them got something from him. And I think even as kids, they understood that, and I think that was their main takeaway. It wasn't the fact that he lied to them. They didn't care about that. They just cared about like.
And I think also the two, they knew he was sorry because he started apologizing. You're like, forget it. We got a show to play.
They're like, we get it. Yeah, whatever. Get on. Yeah. So I think. So they're kids. So there's.
I get it. Yeah, that's fine.
But I think they were still able to hold. They're kids that are able to hold a lot of, adult emotions of like betrayal, but also like learning how to like grow yourself as a person.
About betrayal.
And
redemption.
Yes. which actually reminds me of a future episode that I want to do, which I've talked about in the past. I'm throwing this out here now so that it will happen in the future because I think it would be so fun.
Okay, yeah, if you say here, it's official.
Where we do a sort of game where I guess sort of like, we take the plots of movies, but we make them different. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the one where it was like the Finding Nemo one where it was like, man loses his child and has to take on like a mentally ill woman to like help find him. And it's like this like whole drama, but it's just Finding Nemo.
Just Finding Nemo. Yes, I've seen it. It's hilarious.
And then we have to like guess which is like what movie we're talking about. So that would be fun. Or
we'll definitely do
an
that.
Alternative one is we both show up with two different movies and we just like, we're talking about them and we have to figure out which one we're talking about.
Oh my God.
Could be the same movie, could be different. Never know.
It could be different. We never know. I think the odds of us picking the same movie are pretty slim, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Stranger Things. Let's do that one.
That would be a good, isn't the new season coming out like this summer?
Yes, it is.
I'm behind. I have not watched season 3 yet, actually. So.
I've watched all of them. I really enjoy that show, actually.
It's a very good show. So
it's a very good show.
Maybe look out for that one. We'll see.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, did you have any final notes about the movie? I know I asked already, but
the only final thing I have to say about it is that the song "Teacher's Pet" is such a bop, and it's so iconic, and I love that song.
How does that go again?
It's the big song that they sing in the movie.
At the end. At the end,
okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good song.
It's actually really good for a 10-year-old to have written it. I mean, like not actually, but like in the movie.
Yeah. What do you think actual 10-year-olds would have written about? I mean, I know they're smart kids, but come on now.
I don't know. Well, because if you think about it, like the whole song is very like, so you want to.
It is very much like a school.
Pet. Yeah. It's a very school.
But it's almost too clever for a 10-year-old, I think.
Yeah, it is too clever for 10-year-olds.
I mean, there are smart kids,
10-year-olds would write. Well, because like, if you also think about it, like he assigned like these two girls to like name the band, and like their first ones were like, it was like the koalas, and like he was like, it's too sissy. So like, it shows like they are still kids, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's very very, very true. My final note, and this is my main takeaway from the School of Rock. All of this could have been avoided if they had just done a background check.
Also, where are the cameras in the school?
Where?
This is a fancy school.
I think the only camera that was there was the one that the kids did.
The kids had. Why did the kids have the cameras, but they didn't? Like, you could have very easily caught him sneaking the children out of the building. Like,
yeah, like no security on the campus, like not even one.
Right? They were just easily just walking straight out of there in the middle of the day.
And they're just like, and they're surprised that they're gone. Just right? Especially when he knew that they just had known that he was a fake teacher that showed up there. It's like clearly you would be like on it with security after that. But no, it's just like they're able to just leave right away again.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're fine. They're good.
Exactly.
They'll be good on their own. Yeah.
So, in my opinion, that's the importance of background checks on all facets, because if they would have just ran one on him, this would not have happened.
Very easily changed the course of the movie.
The entire movie. There would have been no movie, basically.
There would be no movie, no.
So if we don't have any more thoughts about the movie, we can go into our ratings. Did you want to start?
Okay, yeah. So I think overall this movie, it holds up from what I thought of it as a kid. I loved it. I loved it then. I loved it now. It's such an enjoyable movie, and it makes me laugh. It's just great. It's all around a great movie. So I would give it 8 out of 10.
I'm also giving it 8 out of 10.
Wow, we finally matched a score.
We finally matched one.
There you go.
Well, no, I think 8th grade we both gave it a 9.
Oh, did we?
I think we did.
Probably.
Well, there we go. We matched. That's always a good thing to see. Yeah, this is definitely a comedy I can always go back to and laugh completely. I think Jack Black, honestly, where's his Oscar for this? I would have given it to him. I would have given it to him. I know they don't give it. I know they don't really recognize like comedic performances, but I mean they're making more trends to that. They're doing a little better, but still, like there hasn't been one that's won. I don't think in a while. But this should have been it. And I think
been it.
I think it's my favorite role of his. Like, when I think of, I also think, honestly, Poe, Kung Fu Panda is one also
Such
great.
A classic.
And then this one isn't my favorite, but his recent roles in Jumanji have been hilarious.
Those were funny. Okay, Jumanji, it's... okay, I can't talk bad about it because Alex Wolff is in it.
Oh, God.
And I love Alex Wolff.
Okay.
He's my favorite person ever.
We'll get to that another time.
Yeah, but the movies itself, like, they're funny. They're not the best movies.
I enjoy them for what they are. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. If you take them and just, like,
I think they're funny movies.
Yeah. They're plain old comedies.
But honestly,
they're pretty enjoyable.
I think the funniest character, like, is his.
Is always his because he's playing Bethany, and, like, he does such a good job of being a teenage girl. It's ridiculous. So he's a very talented actor, and I think he's very underrated. And also, have you ever seen his TikToks?
I don't think I have, no.
You need to watch his TikToks. I'm once again saying, if I will ever have the confidence that Jack Black has, I will have succeeded at life. This man just goes around just, like, singing rock songs in nothing but his underwear and, like, a cape. And just running around his house. It's amazing.
It sounds insane,
love him.
I love the sound of that. I will definitely check that out.
Please do. It's incredible.
He's great. There's actually another movie that he's in that's also directed by the same director, Richard Linklater, called Bernie, that he's like really great into. I think Matthew McConaughey's in the movie too.
That sounds familiar.
You know, if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend that one too. That's also another great. He's like very funny in that one too. All right. That's a really good one. I think it's set in Texas too, which is a nice little touch. Could be wrong on that, but yeah. So we both gave it 8 out of 10. So I'm glad we're in agreement. And that concludes our discussion on the School of Rock.
School of Rock, yep.
So, Martha, do you want to go into what our next movie's gonna be?
Oh, I'm excited about this one. Funny enough. Oh,
I don't know how I feel like we're gonna regret this, but or maybe
we're definitely gonna regret this. Yeah, no, funny enough, I just watched this movie like last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's fresh and then you texted me and you were like, let's do this movie next. I was like, yes, absolutely. So the movie is The Bee Movie. I'm so excited.
I don't know why I'm groaning. Like, I'm the one that didn't suggest it.
You're the one that suggested it. You made that choice.
Well, because we had other ideas, but then they didn't really work out. So
it didn't pan out very well.
This is like... This one for sure. I actually watched it not too long ago as well, so it's still a little fresh in my mind. I'm definitely gonna rewatch it again this week. But
it's
this
so iconic.
I think we've talked about. We've
talked about how big of a meme it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be fun to get into as well. But there's also a lot to the movie that we can get into as well, and I think definitely throughout this show so far we talked about a lot of great movies that we love. Let's switch it up a little.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you love this too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is gonna be a movie that we're very split on, because I think you're gonna be like, you're in the mindset that like this is the stupidest movie, and I'm in the mindset of like, me and my family quote this movie daily. So we're going to be in two different areas here.
Yeah. It'll be a fun discussion. So that sounds fun to y'all. Definitely. Tune in next week for the Bee Movie episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. But if you want updates on when that comes up and different things like that, we are on all the audio streaming platforms. Mm-hmm. You like Spotify? Guess what? We're on there. You like Apple Podcasts? We're on there too. Wherever else you listen to podcasts, I don't really know where, we're probably on there too. So there Absolutely. You go. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the video version of this podcast. If you want to see our beautiful faces, we're going to be on the internet there at In a Wider Screen Podcast. And we are on the social medias, and we have updated them all. So we, at all of these platforms, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, it is all at In a Wider Screen.
Finally did it.
Which is very cool. And on TikTok, I don't know if you saw our video that I posted from the Oscars episode. Got about 100 likes.
That's impressive for us. So way to go.
I was really surprised by that. So if y'all or if anyone's here from TikTok, welcome. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Hope we don't disappoint you.
Yeah.
No, I have a feeling that they saw that and were like, oh, these people are like real impressive. They know what they're talking about. And we intro with, we're two idiots who know nothing about movies.
We'll see how people feel about that. But thanks again for listening. Thanks again for watching. And do you have anything else to say before you sign off? Or no?
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.